This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. It was an online sale gone wrong. After making a deal online to buy an electronic from a stranger, one Winnipeg man was left fighting for his life after being shot. Well, he's lucky to be alive. Police are warning the public to be careful when arranging to buy and sell things to people you don't know. CBC's Mike Arsenault has more.
Winnipeg police are asking the public to help find this man. He's the suspect in an online deal that turned violent.
A man in his 30s was robbed and ultimately shot during a meetup to sell an item using an online platform that he had prearranged to sell.
Police will only say the sale was an electronic. The meetup happened in the 600 block of Maryland Street Saturday at about 2 in the afternoon. Police say the victim was transported to hospital in critical condition with life-altering injuries. He's now in stable condition.
I've sold items at home too, and you just feel like, you're going to be okay with this. But every once in a while, someone will take advantage of that.
Winnipeg police say this is the best place to meet up with someone for an online sale. It's what they call a buy and sell exchange zone. It's well lit, open to the public, and deters robberies, especially when selling expensive items like phones and electronics. There are 4 buy and sell exchange zones at different police stations in Winnipeg. One on St. Clair Street in the north, one on Grant Avenue in the west, another in the east on Dugald Road, and a 4th at police headquarters downtown. I spoke with other Winnipeggers to see what they do when meeting up for an online sale.
Try not to give your own personal address. Maybe meet up in some sort of a public area.
When I'm picking up, I just usually tell someone where I'm going, or I have someone on the phone if I'm by myself.
I also won't meet with anybody at night. Again, for the same reasons, just like well-lit areas, middle of the day.
McKinnon says online platforms have become a regular part of daily life.
I use them frequently. We've all done it. Let's just sober second thought, be really aware.
Police couldn't specify what platform was used to arrange the sale, but say it's a popular one. They're asking anyone with information to contact police. People can also report anonymously through the Crime Stoppers tip line. Mike Arsenault, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Meantime, police say a man has been charged after throwing a water bottle at a boy and chasing him down the street. Police say it happened in the Centennial neighborhood last Wednesday afternoon. A group of kids were playing at a park close to Pacific Avenue and Ellen Street, where officers say an encampment is set up. Cops say as they passed by, one of the kids was assaulted and chased by a screaming man. They were able to tell a parent who snapped a photo of the suspect. A 27-year-old was located by police at a homeless encampment and arrested. The last living Israeli hostages held by Hamas are now back with their families more than 2 years later. As the CBC's Rosanna Hempel reports, it was a moment of hope and cautious optimism for many here in Manitoba.
Joy and relief in Hostages Square as the 20 living Israeli hostages were returned to the country. It's bittersweet for Gustavo Zentner with the Center for Israel and Jewish Affairs. He followed the news late into the night from Winnipeg.
We're filled with hope, we're resilient, and at the same time our hearts go out to those families that will never be reunited.
At the congregation Shari Zedek in Winnipeg, a flag for each of the 1,200 Israelis killed on October 7th 2 years ago blows in the wind. Executive Director Rina Sector Elbaz's children knew 2 of the victims. For her, Monday's hostage release is a moment of hope and revitalization.
We feel a connection to all of these people, so I'm so overjoyed. I'm sad for the families that have not received the remains of their loved ones.
The bodies of 4 of 28 deceased hostages were also returned to Israel, while Israel freed more than 1,900 Palestinian prisoners as part of the ceasefire deal. In Egypt, U.S. President Donald Trump and mediators signed the peace deal to end the conflict. Louis Al Ghul of Winnipeg, who lost more than 100 family members in the war, is grateful his other relatives in Gaza will get help. But he's skeptical the plan will bring lasting peace.
they're not. They're happy that the bombing has stopped and the killing has stopped, but they're not very hopeful of a long-term solution because they were not even consulted to be on the table of this peace talk or this peace agreement.
Emet Eviatar with Manitoba Friends of Standing Together is also cautiously optimistic.
I would like to think that this is the beginning of a new era where we can actually live in peace together.
Eviatar hopes the deal can appease local divisions and tensions too, as does Zentner.
Regrettably, in Winnipeg, in our own streets, we have seen hostility, we have seen acts of hate and vandalism, direct anti-Semitism targeting our community.
He hopes there will be conversation and peace abroad and at home going forward. Rosanna Hempel, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Winnipeg ratepayers won't have to shoulder as much of the cost of the city's new sewage treatment plant. City officials have received word more funding is coming for the mega project from other levels of government. CBC's Cameron McLean has the details.
The North End sewage treatment plant expansion is the most expensive project in Winnipeg's history at $3 billion. Work on the first phase is almost finished, and the city is about to begin work on the second phase, the biosolids removal facility. City, provincial, and federal governments had agreed to share the cost roughly equally, but the price tag ballooned by $400 million to just over $1 billion. Finance Committee Chair Jeff Brawadi says the city would have had to take on debt to cover the difference.
Winnipeg's a growing city. We're in the 850,000 people range. If we don't do this work, we're going to run out of capacity. We'll have to say no more homes, no more industry, no more business. So it's a very serious matter.
At Tuesday's Finance Committee here at City Hall, department officials told councillors new funding has been confirmed. According to city officials, the province has committed up to $138 million, and the federal government committed up to $166 million from the Canada Housing Infrastructure Fund. That brings Winnipeg's share of the cost back down to about 1/3. St. Vital councillor Brian Mays says this means the city can afford to consider other funding priorities.
This opens up some space under the debt ceiling, and we all have competing interests, but at least now some of that can be debated meaningfully. We can afford to do some things that it didn't look like we could a week ago.
A new report on water rates later this year will show how the funding deal changes what homeowners pay on their bills. Cameron McLean, CBC News, Winnipeg.
The federal government is allowing Manitoba to bring in more skilled workers from other countries. Earlier this year, Ottawa cut back on the number of newcomers to Canada who settle in Manitoba under the provincial nominee program. Manitoba wanted to bring in 12,000 people under the program, but the federal government set the limit at less than half that. Now, after pushback, Manitoba has been allotted 6,200 spots for newcomers. Some of those will work in health.
Our workforce, whether it's healthcare or otherwise, benefits from and quite frankly needs internationally educated healthcare workers. These folks are invaluable to the front lines of our healthcare system. They make our healthcare system stronger.
The cutbacks to the nominee program was part of a federal effort to reduce pressure on housing. Thousands of people in Manitoba are still waiting for power to come back on after a long weekend snowstorm. Manitoba Hydro says roughly 3,000 customers are still in the dark in northern Manitoba. Now, these are shots of what some crews are dealing with in the northern Interlake. Hydro says fallen trees caused significant damage, including more than 150 reports of downed power lines. Hydro says snowfall and road closures are making access difficult in some spots. At the height of this storm, approximately 11,000 customers were without power from those downed lines and other damage from wind, rain, and tree contact. All right, let's bring in weather specialist Riley Lachuk. And Riley, well, we got some wind down here. It was really up the north that got hit the hardest.
Yeah, I've got some pictures to show you from near Snow Lake, Brittany, which was one of those communities that saw a real heavy dumping of snow, not just the light fluffy stuff. This was the very rich, moisture-laden snow that fell. And you can see some of the damage near Snow Lake here and just the sheer amount of snow that fell here on the deck, and you can see how some of these trees are starting to bow in the background there. That's just because of the weight of some of the snow that fell as we got through the weekend here. So Snow Lake, about 35 centimeters of snow. You'll notice some of the numbers on this map in millimeters because Environment Canada, where we did see some pockets of heavier rain before this transitioned, has calculated everything in millimeters here. So Swan River, for example, getting about 7 millimeters of snow, about 52 millimeters of moisture in total, whereas Thompson got about 20 centimeters of snow. And you can really see where that heaviest band fell through parts of northwestern and north central Manitoba as we got through Sunday into the early part of Monday. And of course, still feeling the impacts of that. That area of low pressure now off into northern Quebec. High pressure has tried to clear us out throughout the afternoon here really across the province. A few sunny breaks, a few scattered showers, and Brittany, things remaining pretty unsettled for at least the southern and central part of the province as we get through the next several days here. I'll go into details when I come back.
All right. Thank you, Riley.
You're welcome.
They help keep patients alive during heart surgeries, but a lack of these specialists is leading to more deaths. Why? We'll explain ahead. A shortage of key operating room specialists known as perfusionists is leading to heart surgery cancellations and longer wait times across the country. As Alison Northcott tells us, for patients, those delays can be a matter of life and death.
My mom was an absolute joy to be around.
This Thanksgiving marks 1 year since Debbie Fuster died while waiting for triple bypass surgery in Manitoba.
I drove to my mother's house really quickly, obviously. I actually got there before the ambulance did, and she had passed away from a heart attack.
It's the kind of death on a surgical wait list cardiologists and heart surgeons in Quebec are warning about.
80 people have died in the last year, year and a half, waiting for their surgery. So that is awful.
And that's just in Quebec. He said it's largely due to a shortage of staff like perfusionists. They play a crucial role during heart surgery, running the machine that does the life-sustaining work of the heart and lungs. The shortage affects other parts of Canada too, linked to higher salaries available in the U.S., an aging workforce, and the intense demands of the job, says this perfusionist.
Well, you're essentially working on a cardiac surgeon's schedule, and with that, it becomes a challenging position to maintain over time.
Debbie Fuster's son still doesn't know why her surgery wasn't scheduled or if it was linked to staffing. Still, he's pushed for change to ensure patients are informed about their wait time.
If we'd have known that my mom was going to be on a list for 2.5 months and she needed surgery in 3 weeks, we'd have done something about it.
In Quebec, the health ministry says patients waiting for heart surgery often have other serious health problems that could be related to their deaths, and says the perfusionist shortage accounts for just 1% of cancelled surgeries.
The associations of cardiologists and heart surgeons in Quebec plan to file an ombudsman's complaint because they say the province hasn't done enough to address the problem. Alison Northcott, CBC News, Montreal.
As the country continues to deal with the housing crisis, the federal and provincial governments are putting money towards extending the life of current rental units in Manitoba. The two levels of government are putting $9 million towards repairing more than 730 affordable rental homes and housing units that need work. They're working with the nonprofit sector to extend the life of the properties through repairs and renovations. The province says this will help people who need safe, secure homes now.
We often focus on creating new housing, but today I want to emphasize that the equally important role of protecting and preserving existing homes. Maintaining Manitoba housing stock is key to preventing homelessness before it starts.
The money will be used for repairs and replacements of old infrastructure with new energy-efficient items such as furnaces, and electrical. Old age has long been considered a key risk factor for poor health outcomes. But there's new evidence tonight that even after a period of major illness, older people can and do bounce back. Jennifer Yoon explains.
Looking at him today, you'd never guess Ken Martins almost died last year. After a series of blackouts and falls, he ended up in the hospital, where a nurse told him just how close he'd come.
Said, Ken, your heart stopped for 10 seconds.
Doctors immediately implanted a pacemaker. Now, after months of working out and making friends at the gym, he says he feels like a new man.
I feel like I'm in better or as good a health as I've ever been.
It's not as rare a story as you might think, say researchers. A recent Canadian study followed thousands of adults over 60 going through a period of bad health. 3 years later, a quarter of them recovered so much, they say they felt they were in optimal health.
Aging is not just about like a doom and gloom or decline or deterioration, but there are many things we can do.
Some factors that appear to have made a difference: staying physically active, not smoking, sleeping well, and staying socially connected.
To have someone to talk to, someone to love you, someone to confide with you.
Slow, relaxed movement. That's why it's crucial to tackle the loneliness epidemic among older Canadians, especially for those who are grieving.
Widows and widowers tend to struggle because not only did they lose their best friend, sometimes they lost their social coordinator.
Greg Carman is going through that grief now. he lost his wife last month, but keeps returning to the gym where they would lift weights together.
Everyone here is very, very supportive of me. I can tune out the rest of the feelings and work out for a few hours.
That kind of support can make a huge difference, and it's something younger Canadians can help with, say experts.
How can the family and friend network rally around to help maintain a good level of social connection?
Because Sinha says it's never too late to look out for a loved one, and you're never too old to build resilience and health. Jennifer Yoon, CBC News, Toronto.
Riley back in now, and this weekend, boy oh boy, depending on what corner of the province you were in, it was a very, very different Thanksgiving for so many people.
A bit of sun Saturday here in Winnipeg. We got about 10 millimeters of rain over the weekend, closer to 20 into southeastern Manitoba. In behind that, though, some very windy conditions, winds gusting up to 90, just about to 90 in some parts of Westman through the weekend. So it depends on where you were in the province, what weather you experienced. A little unsettled once again today across southern Manitoba. We did see a few scattered showers here in Winnipeg through the afternoon hours, kind of brushing across the southern edge of the city, and then again another little pocket through parts of the north perimeter into West St. Paul, for example. But if I widen this out, you can see this was a bit of a steadier rain through the afternoon from places like Boissevain through Killarney into the southeastern corner of the province as we head into the evening hours here. There is a chance that we do get into maybe a few more scattered showers out of some of this cloud cover as it pushes off. High pressure has really tried hard to clear us throughout the day today. We have seen some of that clearing into western and central parts of the province, although I think as we get into the day on Wednesday, we will see things brightening up a little bit, perhaps a bit more sunshine than we saw today. Fairly short-lived, though. We are looking at another round of precipitation pushing across the province as we get Thursday into Friday. So we are looking at this unsettled pattern continuing here for the next few days. I've stopped it here early Thursday morning. You can see parts of the southern and central Interlake down into southeastern Manitoba, northwestern Ontario, including Winnipeg, looking at a shot of some moisture. First thing in the morning, we get a bit of a break, a bit unsettled throughout the day. Then we get another round of it pushing up with an area of low pressure once again as we head overnight Thursday into Friday. This one looks to have another broad impact really across southern and central Manitoba. This time around, though, temperatures staying above freezing by several degrees. So we are looking at perhaps things staying as rain this time around for the majority of us across the province with some slightly warmer temperatures. Overnight tonight, though, where we did see some snow through the weekend, we are looking at the potential of some patchy fog, looking at visibilities down less than a kilometer in Swan River first thing in the morning, for example, through Flin Flon, the Pas into Thompson. The potential is there. The ingredients are there for some fog formation as we get through the overnight hours into the early morning hours on Wednesday. So just keep that in mind if you have any travel, say on Highway 10, for example, first thing in the morning, Highway 6 up to Thompson could run into some fog first thing. What this translates to is a good amount of rain for southern and central Manitoba, 10 to 15 millimeters, not out of the question as we get toward the weekend here. Tomorrow, a bit warmer, 11 degrees in Winnipeg, looking at 10 in Brandon, 7 in Thompson. In the long range, Brittany, we are looking at temperatures staying close to 10 degrees through the rest of the work week here, and then dropping to single digits once again for the weekend.
All right, thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
Well, we have much more to come straight ahead. Stay with us. Hamas has handed over the bodies of 4 more dead hostages to Israel. It comes after Israel accused the militant group of being too slow in returning all the remains still in Gaza and said it's reducing humanitarian aid coming into the enclave in response. This happening as many questions and concerns remain about key parts of the tenuous U.S. peace plan for the region. Crystal Gamansing reports from Jerusalem.
Israeli forensics teams are being called on once again. They will have the task of identifying remains delivered tonight to them. 4 coffins delivered from the Red Cross to Israel Defense Forces and then taken to that forensics identification building. It is there that the work will be done to confirm those remains. Now, Israel is saying that Hamas is not fulfilling its obligations when it comes to this peace agreement, and because it says there are violations, Israeli officials say they will not allow the Rafah border crossing to reopen, and they're also saying that they will limit the amount of aid going into Gaza tomorrow, cutting the number of aid trucks in half from 600 to 300. We have also heard from the U.S. president, who says that Hamas needs to hand over all of the remains immediately.
We did something monumental. We got the hostages back. That was the first thing we had to do. Above all else, get the hostages back. Now, they misrepresented because we were told they had 26, 24 of dead hostages, if we can use those terms. And it seems as though they don't have that because we're talking about a much lesser number. But that's a very tough subject. I want them back.
Now, this ceasefire is holding, but we have seen challenges today, including an incident involving the IDF and some civilians. Israel Defense Forces say a number of individuals approach what they call the yellow line. That's the area that troops move back to. Israel says they issued warnings. People did not listen to those warnings, and so they opened fire. Individuals in Gaza who spoke with a freelance journalist who works with CBC said that they were not near that yellow line in the north of Gaza, and that these were just young people who wanted to see their homes.
وهي إسرائيل كذابة إسرائيل مش عندها عهود يعني أنت عارف هدول أطفال ولا همش لا هم مقاومة ولا نيلة ولا حاجة فإحنا بدنا خلص وقفت إطلاق النار خلص وقفت إطلاق النار شو تضربوا في الناس.
So a number of elements in play today, everyone continuing to hope that the ceasefire holds and that more hostages, the remains of hostages, will be returned. Crystal Gamansing, CBC News, Jerusalem.
Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand says India has agreed to readmit all Canadian diplomats 2 years after the relationship between the two countries ruptured. It's part of a new agreement to rebuild trust and bilateral trade between Ottawa and New Delhi. Salima Shivji is in Mumbai with more on the minister's trip to the region.
This is billed as a reset of the Canada-India relationship. Canada's Foreign Minister Anita Anand started the trip with a brief meeting with India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Then she sat down with her counterpart, India's External Affairs Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar, as well as the Commerce Minister here. And today she's in back-to-back meetings with business leaders and investors here in Mumbai. And the reigning theme here is positivity, rebuilding trust and renewing momentum. But it has to be said that most importantly, this is about both countries being pragmatic. Both are dealing with punishing tariffs from an unpredictable partner, the United States. And in that framework, restoring Canada-India ties and this relationship, which has been in tatters for 2 years after allegations of the Indian government allegedly being involved in killing a Canadian Sikh activist on Canadian soil, rebuilding those ties is seen as a necessary economic reality. And that's where the will to quietly manage the differences in the relationship instead of amplifying them is coming from.
We are in a moment where economic diplomacy, pragmatism is of crucial importance.
But of course, questions of security, of transnational repression, the practice of a government going outside of its borders to silence or intimidate critics won't go away so easily. New Delhi sees Canada as too soft on what it calls Khalistani agitators, and that view hasn't changed. When I sat down with the Foreign Affairs Minister earlier today, I asked her how she brought up these issues. Here's what she said.
At every stage, in every conversation, yesterday, while I was in New Delhi, I made sure to bring up many topics within the public safety mold, including transnational repression, including public safety, including an independent RCMP investigation, including outlawing the Bishnoi gang.
But Anand will want to keep the focus on her message of economic diplomacy when she lands in Singapore and later China, another country where the diplomatic tensions have remained high. Salima Shivji, CBC News, Mumbai.
New U.S. tariffs on imported timber, kitchen cabinets, and upholstered furniture came into effect today. They include a global tariff of 10% on all softwood lumber entering the U.S. Now, that's in addition to a 35% duty already in place on Canadian softwood.
Fundamentally, what we need to do is we need to buy more Canadian. We need to help our workers in the sector. We need to be there for the softwood lumber industry.
Finished wood products like vanities and kitchen cabinets have also been hit. They face a 25% tariff now, with an increase to 50% starting January 1st. Upholstered chairs and sofas will go up to 30% at that time. It's been a day of political turmoil in Madagascar. The president of the African island nation has been overthrown, the military has taken control, and young people in the capital are celebrating. Protesters in front of the presidential palace were jubilant when the leader of Madagascar's most elite military unit joined the crowd and declared the armed forces were taking power. Madagascar's impeached president had earlier fled the country, fearing for his safety. The military coup caps weeks of youth protests over poverty, power outages, and a lack of opportunity in the country. The rise in the cost of living has also seen a rise in payday loans. CBC News obtained data shows a massive increase in the number of payday loans being taken out in New Brunswick. Rachel Cave has more.
When it comes to paying the bills, more and more New Brunswickers are turning to payday loans. In 2020, New Brunswickers borrowed more than $5 million, and year over year, they've been borrowing more and more, ticking past $20 million last year. The rules say one loan per time, per customer, per lender, but there's nothing to stop a consumer from spreading their loans around.
We do see people with multiple payday loans, and really when we see that, a lot of times people will say to us, I had no choice.
The federal government set a new limit on fees this year, a maximum $14 per $100 borrowed. That adds up to a $42 charge to borrow $300. That's more than the cost of borrowing on a line of credit, overdraft protection, or a cash advance on a credit card. Money in Your Pocket in St. John's North End is the only licensed storefront in the province. CBC News stopped by several times, but lately it's been closed. The other licensed payday providers are all online: Speedy Cash, iCash, GoDay, and Loan Express, promising loan approvals within the same day, within the hour, or even within minutes.
So that immediate need or the ease is what they're looking for. It could be those who are vulnerable community members that just don't know the other options that they have.
If the loan is not repaid on time, the lender can charge a $20 fee plus interest at a rate of 2.5% per month.
And it revolves. You take a loan this month, you pay it the next month, you have to take another one the next month because you've used next month's paycheck to pay last month's loan.
People who teach financial literacy say just about any other type of credit is better, but they also hear borrowers say the rising cost of food and housing is making it harder to cover the essentials, let alone an unexpected expense such as a car repair. And they hear many people feel they have no choice. Rachel Cave, CBC News, St. John.
Dozens of holes are popping up in National Historic sites along the New Brunswick and Nova Scotia border. It appears artifacts are being dug up illegally. And as Shayna Luck reports, there's concerns Canada's history is at risk.
It is. What do you think it is?
There's no thrill like the beep of a metal detector for hobbyist Robin Perret of Winnipeg. He's been detecting for more than 6 years, even helping people recover cherished lost valuables.
That's the stuff I love. I love that treasure hunting kind of idea.
For him, historic sites are strictly off limits. But in the last few weeks, someone's been raiding 2 historic sites on either side of the New Brunswick-Nova Scotia border, seemingly digging for artifacts. Staff have found at least 150 holes, sometimes as many as 30 new holes in one night.
We have been able to determine that the activity is happening in the dead of night, and in the case of us, that's probably not with the best of intentions.
This historic site in Fairyland, Newfoundland suffered a brazen dig right through its cobblestone yard this summer. Nothing like it has happened in 30 years.
But now people are actually, for the first time ever, coming in and actually destroying those features to find a little, buckle or part of a coin or who knows what.
Archaeologists say removing artifacts messes with a place of shared history, and other detectorists have a bad name for it.
Night hawks, those are the people that go in, in the cover of darkness and dig up places and, leave the holes.
Parks Canada says they haven't seen this issue widely across the country, but archaeologists say it does happen every now and then. And anyone who's caught doing it on a national historic site like this one could face a big fine, up to $25,000. Shayna Luck, CBC News, Halifax.
I'm Felicia Adam here on the Saskatchewan River. Join me as I follow 2 community members from Opaskwayak Cree Nation, making sure their community has access to traditional foods.
While some people hunt and fish for fun, members of Opaskwayak Cree Nation are using their skills to help their community. From accessing traditional foods to educating the next generation on how to take care of traditional lands. As part of CBC's Communities in Focus initiative, reporter Felicia Adam was in OCN and joined them for a day of fishing.
I don't know, it's good. Better than yesterday's weather.
Omar and Crystal Constant are getting ready.
Maybe we'll just do maybe past Sangadors, maybe?
Yeah.
Charting their path.
Okay, I'm gonna throw this in the mine's good to go.
And packing their gear, something they've been doing since 1987.
And we're good to go. That's all good. That's all good. Lights are in.
Today we're heading out on the Saskatchewan River. And what are we doing?
We're going for sturgeon. We're going for moose. Enjoy the day.
Both grew up hunting, trapping, and fishing with their families.
I close that up for now. So that was kind of like my upbringing of going on the land, getting our birds, getting our moose. Then we share it with our community members, wakes, funerals.
And it's those teachings they're carrying forward. The pair are part of Diamond Willow Traditional Hunting and Gathering Club.
There you go. There you go.
A group of 13 making sure elders, low-income households, and those unhoused have access to traditional and healthy foods at a time when costs have gone up.
Darn. Hi. We are gifted from the land, and the land belongs to all of our people, you know, and we share that back with not just ourselves. We don't just take the food for ourselves. We share it with our people. We do our distribution in the fall, and then also again before Christmas. One year we packed up 22 bags of care packages, we called them, where we had fish and some moose meat and a duck.
The group buys all of their hunting supplies out of pocket, including gas, bait, and shells.
Even though if they're probably $100 a box, we would still be doing this because it has that passion within inside myself, and as long as we carry that passion and willing to do stuff in that, that's what drives us.
All the meats, fish, and produce are processed at Omar's and Crystal's home, then vacuum sealed and frozen before being handed out.
At different times, this fridge will, it tends to fill up fast because of the size of the birds, the size of the geese. Right now we have different fish, the berries from the summer, the moose.
A big part of what they do is educating youth and community members that want to learn, teaching them not only traditional ways of hunting and fishing, but also how to be caretakers of the land.
And sharing that information, how important it is that we are attaining what the land offers, and doing so in a humane way, but also not overtaking, just taking what you need.
And while they're not sure how many people they've helped so far, they know they'll continue to do so for the years to come.
You know, there's always big smiles. There's always that. That's what fills us.
Making sure folks stay close to their roots, and the next generation carries the traditions forward. Felicia Adam, CBC News, Opaskwayak Cree Nation.
Riley's back in now, and just before we get to your dog walk, it wasn't just Thanksgiving in our household this weekend. It was a very special birthday. Our little pup Lucy, no longer a pup. She is 9 years old.
Oh, happy birthday.
Suggested based on her gotcha day. Okay. So we had a big happy birthday celebration and lots of cookies that she got, and lots of treats all weekend. Lots of pumpkin pie for all the adults.
Do love all of the above.
So I'm going to need a nice dog walking forecast to walk off some of that pie.
Well, maybe the sweater tomorrow morning if you're going out, because we're looking at another chilly start in parts of the province, Brittany. If you're in Winnipeg, at least, looking at some cloud cover, maybe temperatures closer to the freezing mark. Here's Mocha. Thank you Jerry and Shirley for sending this picture. And I have on good word that Mocha is the favorite child here with the sweater. You'll probably need this one tomorrow morning for your nice fall walk with the leaves. You can keep sending yours to talkback at cbc.ca. So 5 degrees tomorrow morning. Normal low for this time of the year is 0. So yes, on the chilly side, it could be colder though. As we get into the afternoon though, we are looking at, I think, a bit more of a brighter sky than we saw today, up to 11 degrees. Wind staying light even as we get into the evening, 10 by the supper hour. Speaking of, look at our view right now, sunset at 6:40, so 8 minutes ago. Now dark over downtown Winnipeg right now, 5 degrees. Pressure is falling at the moment. Light shower reported at the airport across the rest of the province. Barely struggled to get over 6 here in Winnipeg throughout the day today. 5 degrees at the moment in Brandon. Thompson at 1 degree. Or we have seen some of that snow. I don't expect that we'll see that sticking around for the most part. We are looking at temperatures warming as we get toward the end of the week here, and you'll see in your regional forecast that temperatures even in the north tomorrow closer to the 10-degree mark. So overnight tonight, across the south, watch for some patchy fog, particularly through the Parkland, through Swan River, further north along Highway 10. Could run into some fog first thing in the morning. 2 to 4 degrees through the western part of the province, a pair of zeros in Roblin and Dauphin, 2 to 4 degrees through the Interlake and into the Red River Valley. Maybe a few scattered showers yet to come, particularly the further east you are in the province, and maybe some patchy fog in the north again overnight tonight. Temperatures just below the freezing mark, -2 in Thompson, 0 in Gillam, Barons River, 4 degrees, a few clouds. We'll get some clearing with high pressure as we get through the day, and you'll see those temperatures popping up back to 8 and 9 degrees even as we get through the afternoon hours. So that will help to accelerate some of that melting as we get into the day tomorrow. But certainly toward the weekend, I would expect that we probably won't have much in the way of snowpack left. Bit of clouds still left in the Red River Valley and across much of southern Manitoba as we get through the afternoon tomorrow. Temperatures 11, 12 degrees, Brittany, as we get into the day tomorrow. Your 7-day forecast just ahead.
All right, thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
1 person is dead and 2 are still missing after the remnants of a powerful typhoon hit several small Indigenous communities in Alaska over the weekend. It brought hurricane-force winds, ravaging storm surges, and floodwaters that swept away homes. Juanita Taylor reports.
49 coastal communities in western Alaska have been hit by the remnants of Typhoon Halong. That's according to the Alaska Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. Homes uplifted and swept away in a chaotic surge of rising water.
The house is unlivable. We can't live in there anymore. This is the worst ever. Kipnuk is totally wiped out.
Carter lives in Kipnuk, Alaska, a Yupik village where roughly less than 600 people live, where communication was cut off. The Alaska Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Management is working to set up satellite internet. In a press release yesterday, it says Kipnuk's runway has also been damaged. Another community, Quigalingok, also got hit and has lost power. Roughly 400 people live there. That's where Alaska state troopers say 1 woman was found dead and 2 people are still missing. The U.S. Coast Guard has been deployed and a drone will be used to help in search and rescue efforts. Dramatic video shows people getting rescued from rooftops. Weather Services says a significant storm surge saw hurricane forces reaching 160 km/h winds.
The remoteness of some of these villages, it's hard to get information to people in a lot of these areas, and for some people the storm came so quickly, the floodwaters rose so quickly, it was too late before they got the warning.
People who have been displaced, some of them have been sheltering in schools, but efforts are being made to find them somewhere more suitable. Food, water, and other essentials are being coordinated to get to those who need them the most. Now, it's not clear when we will know the full extent of the damage, but what we do know is that it will be a long road to recovery. Juanita Taylor, CBC News, Yellowknife.
Flooding and mudslides in central and southeastern Mexico have killed at least 64 people and caused widespread destruction. But the full extent of the disaster may not be known for days. Mexican troops are now in the region helping to search for dozens of people still missing. They're also bringing supplies to the hundreds of thousands who've lost homes. Torrential rains last week triggered widespread flooding and landslides that destroyed buildings and bridges. Many communities remain inaccessible and cut off from communication. Meantime, in the U.S., a nor'easter swamped parts of New Jersey and New England before heading back over the Atlantic Ocean. About 5 centimeters of rain pounded New Jersey and New York, with winds gusting up to 70 kilometers an hour. No word yet of any major damage. Still ahead, how many pumpkin pies do you think you could get out of this? I'd say quite a few. We'll show you how much it weighed in our daily lift. We're back right after this. Canadian Tire says it's identified a data breach involving customer information. The incident happened on October 2nd. The retailer says the breached info belongs to shoppers who had an e-commerce account with Canadian Tire or its other banners like Sport Check, Marks, and Party City. Those customers whose info was stolen will be contacted and offered credit monitoring. The company is also reminding shoppers it's good practice to use strong, unique passwords.
All right, let's have a look at your 7-day forecast. And fall, I think, has arrived in earnest across the province, even some pre-winter snow, as you saw earlier in parts of northern Manitoba. So 11 degrees for Wednesday and Thursday for Winnipeg, 13 for Friday, a bit unsettled as we head toward the end of the week. And we also start to see the wind picking up as we get toward the weekend as well, and back down into single-digit highs, 8 and 9 for Saturday, Sunday, and 8 and 9s, and again, maybe a few more showers as we head into Tuesday of next week at 8 degrees. All right, I've got one weather picture for you tonight. This one was taken on the Hart Trail in Charleswood. Thank you, Lily, for sending this gorgeous picture of the fall colors. I could use more of your fall colors to talk back at cbc.ca. I know, me too. The season for pumpkin pie, pumpkin spice, and even pumpkin ice cream is here.
Sure is. And pumpkin growers across PEI competed in the annual Pumpkin Weigh-Off. Here's your daily lift. Hundreds of Islanders gathered over the long weekend where giant pumpkins were hoisted onto a scale, many weighing hundreds of kilograms. Some so large it took heavy machinery and forklifts to move them. The reigning champ won for a third time.
Yeah, I was honestly a little shocked because, like I said, I thought it was going to be a little bit heavier than that, but I'm still very happy and just so happy to have it the season over with now. I can take a little break, and I know tomorrow, though, I'll be itching to get started again next year, but I've been babysitting this for a couple of months now, this pumpkin, so it'd be nice to get a little break.
The winning pumpkin weighed in at about 540 kilograms or 1,190 pounds. He says the goal for next year is a pumpkin that weighs nearly 600 kilograms, and that would break last year's all-time record. How many pies do you think?
Oh my
you can get out of that
goodness.
pumpkin?
I just want to know what they're doing with them next. Is it time for pumpkin pie, pumpkin ice cream? Because I'll take some over here.
We used to toss them off the riverbank down onto the ice below after it froze, just to see if it would break.
I think they also give them to the animals.
Well, that's tasty too.
Well, have a wonderful night. We'll see you back here tomorrow.